We are glad to welcome everyone who is now listening to us. I am Nina Bilyeva. I am the professor and the chair of Public Policy Department and of Master Program. And together with me is one of our students. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Dragalina. I'm a first year master student of the program Political Analysis and Public Policy. I will be here to assist my professor and to answer any of the questions that you have from my own experience. So just ask or say anything you want. We'll be here for you.
Great. So that you can address questions to me and to Dragalina. And let us begin with the presentation of the program. I hope the students see what we have on a presentation. So it says the Master Program of Political Analysis and Public Policy. Oops. Well, so just to make clear that we are located in campus in Moscow. And the language, I've seen one of the questions in which language the program is conducted. So it's fully taught in English. And we have two tracks, there are two concentrations, and one is public policy analysis, and the other is human rights and democratic governance. They are equal, and they're both very welcomed, and they're the same number of students that are accepted to both of the tracks. And duration of study is 2 years. It's a full time of the program, and academic year for first year students begin in 1st October, just because we have a lot of foreign students and they need more time to get visas and come on time. And from second year, we start from 1st September. And most of the class schedule begins with 6 till 9, because many of our students are already working. But for the first year, be prepared to study from 3 to 6 or sometime to 9. So it's flexible, but the second part of the day normally would be busy with studies. So we think our program is unique, as probably every program is, that we combine conceptual and evidence-based learning traditions in public policy. And the teaching staff that we're very proud of, they're coming from best universities in Russia, like my alma mater was Moscow State University, but we also have people who are coming from University of Bern, Switzerland, University of Cambridge in UK, Latrobe University from Australia, and University of Toronto in Canada. And the environment of the program is truly global, because we have students from everywhere, and I hope when you join you would see and contribute to that diversity. And professional internship is something we're also very proud of, because we invest considerable time in finding good practice positions. And we encourage students from the first year also to think where would they have their internship. But this will only be second year in a second part of the study, so in second semester. So what are the principles of the program? We focus a lot on the deep knowledge. So there will be a lot of theoretical courses, and you would be expected to read a lot. And also methodology, because public policy is important, so you know how you collect data, how you analyze the data. But also with flexibility and diversity, because you would have a lot of choice, particularly on the elective courses. Like we offer 5, and you can choose 3 of them. But if you choose to get all 5 courses, then you would have an obligation to follow all of them. So be careful while choosing the courses you really like. So the courses are taught by researchers and practitioners, and it is both challenging and rewarding because we structure the courses in a way that they are research courses. So there's some knowledge that we share with you, and there's also some knowledge that we develop together, like in the current course we do on human rights in non-Western societies. And the atmosphere is very friendly, very open, very interactive. So we are expecting active students who are ready to present their positions and to argue for their position right in class. So this is the collective of that are currently teaching with us. And this is a good mixture of teachers who are very experienced and who are relatively new to the profession. But what is, again, very important, that they all combine theory and practice and have a lot of practical experience and can guide you in choosing your places of internship. Let me try that technology of picking up the, yeah, we can do this. This is Caroline Schlaufer, so she's from Switzerland, from Bern. just Irina Semenenko is another pride of ours because she's an academician with Institute of International Relations and Global Economy. Alexandra Moskovskaya chairs the Center of, it's difficult to translate, but they are focusing on small enterprises and non-governmental organizations who are promoting the services to organizations. So they are the most practical oriented, and she teaches courses on research seminar and in global political economy. Ksenia Gerasimova, she works in Cambridge most of the time, but she comes for 2 wonderful courses that she teaches with us for human rights and globalizing world in particular. It's her famous course. Svetlana Inkina is from Toronto, from Canada, where she defended her PhD, and she teaches the course on the one is, I'm only meaning the most famous ones. It's on think tanks.
Yeah, we have the course on comparative public policy.
With her. All right. Okay. So we're now coming for, yeah, we have women on the first side, and now we have mostly of the males on the second row with Sergei Parkhomenko, who is vice chair for teaching, and he's an expert on corruption and anti-corruption policies, and this is what he teaches together with research seminar. This is Sanjay Rajans. He is from India, and he teaches education and development, the religion and governance, and also he co-teaches with me the course on human rights in non-Western societies. This is Victor Albert, and he's from Australia, from Latrobe University, and his specialty is citizens movements and protest movements, as well as mine. And he's very famous in his studies of Brazilian movements. And this is what he also teaches the course on governance and development. And part of the course of, together with Dmitry Dubrovsky, the course that he developed mostly is on public assemblies and in comparative perspective. So Dmitry is an expert on minorities and minority rights. He also co-teaches with Ksenia on human rights and globalizing world. And so you could notice that we have a lot of courses that we co-teach between each other, and we really like that experience, and I hope students also find it amusing. At least we can produce different ideas and different positions on the issues, and students can ask us questions and follow different trends in analysis. So Artem Uldanov is one of the youngest members of the department. He is our student, our graduate student, and he's working in his PhD, but he's also teaching a number of very crucial courses. The one is on the contemporary public policy, the big part of research seminar, and also in political economy. And we have Elena Artukhova, right? She's one of the new teachers, and she is teaching the calculative methods. So it's one of the difficult courses, but she makes the difficult course, understandable and clear. So this is a collective that she would be teaching with, and if we follow next, that we'll see this diversity of one of the question of our pride. So you see that we have people from Russia, which is the big. Oops, let me. Pick up the pointer. So he's the, no, it's not working. Yes, yeah. So you recognize the biggest part is Russia, but it's not dominating in the class. So we have students from a lot of European countries. I think none of them all are covered.
This is the international students we had in 2015, 2016.
All right.
So you will see how it changed over time. We will have another slide.
All right.
How we
good. So Dragalina knows better than me because I just noticed it's 15, 16, right? So it's not the current year. So if we look at the next year, you would probably see more countries colored, right? Yes. Now we have it like Southeast Asia, a lot, India, Pakistan, and this big part, and a lot of countries in Europe. That's also good. And Portugal and Spain here, Britain, Canada, America, United States, Mexico, and part Latin America. Great, including Chile and Peru. So we are growing internationally and hope that you would also add to diversity of the students in the program. Okay, so if we look at core curriculum, that we have introductory courses. This we call the bridging courses. This is particularly for those who are not coming from the background of public policy, which is okay, and we understand that's what could happen, that even if you are not from the background of public policy and even political science, you still can join because you would be taught foundations of public policy and conflict management. And we believe these are the key specializations that special knowledge you need to start in mastering the program. And then there are a number of compulsory courses from modern political science and theory and methodology of political research, quantitative and qualitative methods. They're both important in our studies. Human rights in globalizing world, I already mentioned. Global actors in public policy, that is taught by me and Sanjay, and research seminar. That's also would be, all of you have to take that. And elective courses, just examples. For example, comparative public policy analysis, global political economy, think tanks and policy actors. So you can read all of that, so I do not, just read everything, because this is on one of the tracks, and this is plenty from which courses you can choose. And these are the two specializations, back again, public policy analysis and human rights and democratic governance. And we also like to stress that there are a number of careers that you can choose from national, regional, and global think tanks to international human rights organizations, business associations, national, regional, and international governmental agencies, and universities and academic research institutions. Those are the Academy of Sciences and the various think tanks. You can ask questions on the way, so that you do not wait till the end of presentation. If you have any questions while I'm talking and presenting, please write them so we'll see and take note of them. So these are examples of success stories. And this one is one of my favorite students who came to us through the stipend from the Ministry of Social Affairs in Indonesia. And he was studying very successfully, looking into conflict analysis and conflict resolution. That was on the north of the main island of Indonesia, and now he kind of rose in careers. Now he's kind of vice minister in the field of social management and working with religious organizations and various other social groups. So through him, we also got a lot of other students from Indonesia because he liked the program, and then he recommended to his friends and colleagues to come and study with us. Here we have Nastya, pretty lady, but also very smart one, because she currently works at Apple, and the company that all of you know and use their products, and she's working there as analyst. So that proves that our graduates work in companies, in the business companies. And we have several other won't say examples, but the stories, like Svetlana Smakova was pursuing the international migration, and she started working right after graduation in Geneva in UN Department of Social Mobility and Migration, and currently she works at the Red Cross, also as a migration program officer. But there are also other type of careers like activist, and we have Azam Akbash, who is Turkish by his background, and he worked for Doctors Without Borders, and we were recently in contact with him. He's currently the field officer. He goes for very hot spots from Nigeria to countries of sub-Saharan Africa to see how the doctors could help in those situations. And another wonderful graduate of ours is Natasha Zvyagina. She currently is she's a lifetime human rights defender, and she came to us already a very experienced person in human rights education, and she currently is head of the office of Amnesty International in Moscow. So that's examples of the careers our graduates have. Probably you can explain a little bit more about research and academic opportunities that we have during the program.
So basically, during the 2-year master program, you would write a term paper in your first year and a master thesis research. So basically, this means a year-long and then a second-year-long research project that you will be conducting individually, but with the assistance and help of our professors, of course. There's also the research project that you can get involved in additional to your studies. These are some examples that we have had during the last years. For instance, participation and policy change in Russia, human rights in post-Soviet countries in comparative perspective, and like you can see them listed there. Yeah, so this is basically what we have done so far, but of course this process happens with the involvement of students, so you can come up with your own research project and you can get assistance, help from the department in conducting them. Of course, there's an internship opportunity in your second year of studies, in your second year, in your second semester, where our program has a lot of partnerships with different organizations that you can get a recommendation to go for. Also, it will be linked to your interest and linked to the research that you want to conduct. But again, you can also find your own organizations, and it's very much appreciated if you can find your own opportunities to go for a research internship or any kind of internship. We also conduct research schools on topics on human rights and public policy. You will see later on we have some slides of examples of research schools we have conducted. There's academic mobility programs, which you can also go on for your second year of studies in your first semester in universities such as Bologna University or Turin University in Italy, as well in Bosnia and Herzegovina and other countries. Also, you'll see them listed.
Don't forget Lyon, because it's very important in Sciences. So we keep on working on that. So we're trying to broaden opportunities for international exchange.
Yeah. So
moving on.
Yeah. All these examples we will develop upon later on.
Oops. I'm trying to move on. Probably this is because. So this is a combination of our methods and processes and our research fields. We call it research clusters. So you could probably see this, that public policy theories is something that we, take it, okay, I'm learning on the way. So this is public policy theories, and methods and methodology are coming right in the heart. But it's also important, so what we suggest is the students choose what they want to concentrate. So they can focus on actors, those who make public policies, like the think tanks, the social movements, the protest publics, or the government or the president. So then you could also start, thinking and entering the field of public policy from the policies angle, like what is a human rights policy or migration policy or education policy or social policy. So we suggest you think in advance what exactly you want to study, so that the policies aspect might be the entry point to the whole field of public policy, that this connection would work. We also encourage students to look at institutions, like those institutions of civic control or institutions of global governance or global participation, but also just the national governance, that the family might be an institution, or electoral system might be an institution. And so you can enter that point to kind of start doing the public policy research. And the process itself, the examples might be the soft law and soft power, democratic development, policy change and policy transfer. Oh, the policy transfer probably was the recent, yes. And this is my current field of research. It's when it's an interesting policy that's being developed somewhere, say in the United States or in Germany, like education policy, and we want to learn from them. So we want to take the policies that are being implemented in Germany and see if it might work somewhere in Russia or in Moldova or in Southeast Asia. So, but this very process is not easy, and it's worth analysis and research how this process really works. And these are examples of master theses. And you can read them, so we would not repeat that. But this is a lot of, depends on the student's interest. And usually we follow the student's suggestions, and sometimes we try to shape it so that will be easier for them to accomplish that work. So it's not too difficult. So sometimes students design the works that are impossible to cover in a short term, so that we try to guide them on this. Okay. Yes, that was an interesting project work that we did together. It was a scientific research group on civic participation and social political change. And we were looking into protest publics and how the protests in the world that started in the beginning of 2011 and then was rolling out around the globe and covering different countries. And we see what happened as a result. For example, in United States after the Occupy movement, and what happened in Northern Africa after Arab Spring, or what happened in countries like Russia or Ukraine after they have that mass protests, what type of changes happened. And the result was that we made a book, and this is going to be published very soon, like probably next month, because we completed all the editorial work already and just waiting for book to come out, and where the teachers and students are co-authors. And we're planning another research topic that would probably start with expedition to a small city Sputnik of Vladimir, nearby Moscow, and we see how the social groups and the independent communities, how they interact with each other and how do they influence the decision making on the level of the city. Study groups, yes, that's another example of, probably you can tell about your experience.
Yeah, because I am a member of this particular study group. So it's study scientific group on global governance. So basically the students who decided to write their term paper and maybe their master's thesis as well on the topic of global governance, they get together with the professor and they gather together weekly. So they discuss, debate and make presentations on issues of contemporary global problems, global governance. So we also have books that we read weekly and presentations that we make on various topics, such as the European Union's role as a global actor, non-state actors, regulating globalization, transnational actors. So it's basically the topic of the research that we as students chose, and then we get sort of the help, the assistance, and the guidance. First of all, I think the guidance is important.
And I believe it also helps then in developing your own research, yeah. And that ends up in a term paper or in a dissertation and final. Mm-hmm. And I see we already have questions, and we can just answer immediately. Is it possible to learn second language? Yes, it is quite possible, because first of all, the Russian is suggested that only elementary, so for those who are just beginners, and this is free of charge. And for the other languages, I think you need to pay. Yeah. That's what is, so students can get you the experience.
Yes, but the HEC has the Department of Foreign Languages, where you can, I think there is French, English, German, Chinese, Arabic. There's a very wide range of languages that you can choose and different levels you can start. So of course there is a possibility. First of all, for the international students, maybe it's very interesting that you can learn Russian for free. So very useful indeed. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that in class you mostly speak in English, because that's the language of instruction. But then in the university and generally in the country, learning Russian would be useful. Yeah. And many of our students take.
Yeah, did you
take?
It's from the second semester. I think it's from the first semester, because we start in October. It's already a bit late to enroll. But from the second semester right now, my friends, colleagues from the international students are already taking Russian classes. Yes.
That's a follow-up question about whether it's in core curriculum. This is not in general schedule, so that you should find a proper time for that. But as our schedule is always on the second part of the day, yeah. So that the first part of the day is completely free. So you can plan your time when you can take the language courses. So that's up to you to organize your schedule appropriately.
Yeah, and from my experience, I know that the language courses are usually in the mornings or early afternoon. So then you can, it's not very difficult to arrange. since our classes are in the evening and then the language ones are more early in the day.
Mm-hmm. So you can keep asking questions on the way. We'll be happy to switch back from presentation to questions. This is an interactive style that we normally have. So internships, and I want to pay a little attention to internships because we try to also to offer diversity. So you may choose to go to government agencies, and we have our graduates working in Moscow City Council, so they would be happy to welcome you there, and also in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and also in embassies of several countries like Australia, like United States. So there's our graduates also working there. In NGOs, we have Memorial Society. Those who do human rights would definitely know this organization, and a number of others like Helsinki Group, like Amnesty International, like Civic Организация Гражданское Содействие, Civic Assistance Association, kind of translating myself, and the Greenpeace Russia. So there's basically all international huge networks have their offices in Russia, and they normally welcome our students and graduates so that they can offer not the stipends normally, but it will be the places for internship. So you try it out and you see how much you're interested in getting more with these organizations, and it allows you to see the organization from within. But also several think tanks and research organizations. Levada Center is sociological center, and Carnegie Foundation which is the headquarters in New York, also have their Moscow center, and our students every year have a couple of spaces there. Academy of Sciences and Center for Migration Studies, several other research bodies, because those who plan a career in academy, they usually choose the academic organization. Yes, and many students go to journalism because Moscow is vibrant and so many different foreign companies have their offices here, and several of them news agencies, and they are very welcoming the students who can combine the work and the studies here. Okay. These are internships. Yeah, you can really have a look at that. And we keep adding new organizations. And what is also important is that you can find your own organization. And we usually, very much welcome. We just need to make sure that you will be given an independent task, that you can spend the month and a half, almost 2 months, to demonstrate your qualities, your skills, your abilities, and then the hosting organization can give you the certificate of what exactly you have done, and they also kind of grade your work. So to give you enough time, and so that the organization can spend time on you. So if they are prepared to do that even like British Council and Russian Council on International Relations, because they had this experience before, they know what we expect from the hosting organization. But you can suggest organizations of your own choice. International partners, yes. Dragalina already mentioned several of those institutions, but you can just see them in blue, from University of Bologna and Sciences Po in France, and University of Lugano in Switzerland, and in Torino we have International University College, and I don't know, Amelia, if you are from those partners of ours like Bologna or International College of Turin or University of Turin. And we also have a double degree which University of Sarajevo offers together with University of Bologna. So this is already double degree that you can accomplish in 1 year and do it in the middle of studying 2 years with us. So at the end of 2 years, you might have even 3 diplomas. So that's a unique opportunity because of our long-term partnership with Bologna and Sarajevo, which teaches a consortium of universities on human rights and democratic governance. This program called ERMA, European Regional Study Program on Human Rights. George Mason in the United States, and we're now also thinking of another college that is American. It's Bard College, which is a private one, and this partnership can come through Kyrgyz Republic, because one of our possible partners currently that we're debating their connection in Kyrgyz Republic, and they have their partner from Bard College in New York. So we are very entrepreneurial in terms of international relations, and we're trying to combine many opportunities. So, and these are international organizations of which we're part of. And what is important is, for example, IPSA has individual membership. And we encourage our students to join individual membership in international associations. So from the first year of your studies in master program, you could apply for the conference, you could apply for sending your paper and be accepted and speak together with your professors in international environment and probably publish a paper in a good international journal. So, but for, say, International Public Policy Association, there also is individual membership, but only for PhD students. And here in other forums, that is collective membership, which our university is a member. So, these are also events that we organize together with our students and partners, and probably you can describe one of the winter schools, so that you were also one of the participants.
Yeah, so as I mentioned previously, we have the research schools that we do, one of which last year was on Russian identity. I was also a member of that while I was on my exchange semester. So basically what this entails is we do field work. We did field work in a sense, because we went to
Rostov. Rostov the Great.
Rostov the Great, yes, Rostov the Great. And Yaroslavl, which are two ancient cities of Russia. So we basically, through participant observation, try to find signs of memory policy that Russia implements in the city. For instance, you look at street names, you look at monuments that are there, and so on, and then you make a greater picture of what the memory policy in Russia is, or how my group project was about how Russia is perceived from abroad, so image perception as well. Which is also a huge part of what public policy can entail in a sense. There's also many other international and spring schools that involve student participation, which I think every year there is one or two that deal with problems and issues of human rights and public policy domains.
Yeah, and this would be in the same category that that I mentioned briefly, is that visit to Vladimir. It's another Asian city, so we will see how local communities work in the Asian cities and if they can make any impact on the local decision making. So this is true research. Well, this is part of your, so you could recognize this is Dragalina, and you can tell more about other members of student council. We value the student involvement very much, and we take it open so that they just come together and do the projects together.
Yeah, so basically it was not so much an open call for getting students into the student chamber, student council, but it was basically a student initiative group. It was us who were given sort of an idea. We had the idea of organizing events, of doing something for our students and for the department, so we just basically got together and created a student chamber. There's not really a very strict structure of the organization. So
we keep it informal completely, so there's no kind of popular vote, so it's open to initiative. Yeah. So people who have ideas just, come together and start.
Yeah. And it's also very important, we wanted to create a group that would have the sort of the voices of the international students as well as the Russian students, as to create more diversity in the events and the programs that we do. And I think
I think it's good to kind of introduce the students. It's Ines, she's from Portugal. This is Felix from Germany. Alessandra is from United States. This is Gulnara. She doesn't look like herself, but she's from Tatarstan, from Russia. Ksenia Kandalinsa from Russia. This is Dragalina. This is Joe Cripps. He's from Britain. And this is Harshad, and he's from India. Mm-hmm. And these are the points are about the types of work that students do. And this is normally from social commission that we have to involve students to kind of help in enrollment and integration, adaptation, and do research and academic development. That we welcome students' input. And you can add up any other points that you think are important and necessary for students. This is the way that we teach. So you see that the class is not only kind of listening attentively, but a lot of talk, walk and talk. So the students do the group presentations and they talk about their slides that they have, and they also have videos sometimes, either they find on YouTube or they make themselves, and a lot of presentations that the groups do together, and they also involve students in kind of assessing each other. So it's also an important skill. When the group does a presentation, the others are very actively involved and then asking questions, and then we discuss together. So it's a lot of group work. That's part of our class. And the conflict management is one of the exams that students are just given a topic, and they sit in a group that is selected randomly. So they might not kind of be the best friends in that group, but they still need to know how to work together. And here, the group in the work, and this is a group in presentation, and this is when I'm just introducing the topic. And then the result of exam is the group presentation. But what's important, you are not only graded by your exam, but the combined work, which is a cumulative grade of what you accumulate during your study and exam. And usually the cumulative grade is even more important than exam. So this is why students are not that much afraid of exam if they know the cumulative grade is pretty high. So moving on. This is one of the ways we teach. This is a stimulation game. So you just see the group division. So if we have in Malaysia, this is the, also oil-rich country, and you have the oil lobby and environmental lobby that confronts them. And also we have a group of government and a bureaucracy group, and the think tanks, because they could also be very different from conservative to liberal to external actors, because the international community is very often involved in defining the in-country policies. And students kind of like it, and you see here the working groups are working separately and then presenting the results, and the teachers are evaluating how convincing their presentation is. Oxfam, is an important thing. I think there's a kind of a picture with them. Is it kind of blocking by looking to us, right? This is the happy faces of the group that were working together with the Oxfam. There was a presentation, there was a lecture by them, and you know Oxfam is an international NGO. But we also had worked with them before on the project that was assessing the level of development of civil society. And we published a book together with them. So, and this is kind of a new speaker that came together with the organization. And if we work with organization, we try to follow up on that. So Oxfam is one of our partners. This is another. You write blogs this time?
What you mentioned about the interactive and very diverse methods of assessing our students is not just lectures, exams, and then you get your grade. For instance, one form of assessment was writing blogs for our course on human rights in the globalizing world. A part of our grade and a part of the activities we had to do was to write a blog on human rights issue on the site on globalization, social justice, and human rights. So this is an international blog platform where we discussed and debated and saw the views and opinions of people from all over the world. So we can actually interact with people from, I don't know, across the ocean. And we actually, apart from blogs, we also had a research project we did as a group with people from other universities. So, for instance, in my group, we were working with a university in Montreal and the University of Miami.
Wow.
So we wrote a
3 continents.
Project. Yeah,
that's
so
great. I also looked up at the watch, and we are kind of really talking long. So I might see what of the slides are most important, but feel free to start asking questions and writing them, because we want to leave enough time for you to introduce, because we're always, almost close to the completion, because this is another project that the students have. It was the Human Rights Day initially, but then it was expanded to Human Rights Week with a lot of activities. And so that's what our student chamber have organized. And here you see the Amnesty International visits, and the students were kind of interacting with them and writing claims, supported prisoners, prisoners of conscience. And these are the important people and human rights advocates. They're talking to present their position in the anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That's part of our studies. Oh, that's the most important one that I really want to share, is that our students made a performance. They had a Cinderella, but a Cinderella with a human rights perspective. And this is a team of actors and performers, and speaking of rights of all of the actors of the play, there was also, instead of mice and instead of people who were carrying the carriage of Cinderella to the ball, there was a dog. And so this is why it was important to also speak about dog rights. So Dragolina was part of that group, and that was a lot of fun. But we also discovered that the way you teach human rights could also be not that only the serious stuff, because there's a lot of dramatic facts that we know of human rights abuses, but you also can teach and pay attention to human rights when you make joke about that, or when you make a performance and a cultural stuff about that. So I think we can just, stop in here and wait for your questions. Anything that you're interested to ask? They're only writing, yes, so that we cannot hear their voices, right? So they will be writing. Okay.
Wait.
I'm not going there. I see.
Yeah.
Hmm? Oh. Oh. While you're thinking on more questions, we say that the student life is really very active. And apart from the curriculum and co-curriculum activities that are organized for studies, these are also a lot of fun events, as birthdays and Secret Santa and other stuff. So questions coming. Can you tell us about the enrollment? Sure. So enrollment process is portfolio. What is portfolio? It's a collection of documents. And this collection you upload to the individual account on the website. So to get to that, you open the hse.ru and you go to enrollment campaign. So if this is masters, you open masters. And then you open up your account. And this says upload your portfolio. And so these are the number of documents you upload from the motivation letter to the writing sample and to the recommendations from different people. And what else was in the portfolio?
Diploma.
Yes. So you show your accomplishment till that time, and also kind of detailed motivation letter, which we suppose you tell us what experience you already had, hopefully in the field of public policy, but also in citizen work and human rights support or education, and in any social work you had done. So everything relevant to public policy you upload, and then for every of that document you get a certain number of points. And then you collect the points, and those who collected the most are put in the heart at the top of the rating. And if you're Russian citizens, there are 20 budget-covered spaces. If you're foreign citizens, then this is, you also upload your portfolio, but then there's an opportunity to get it on the government grant, which are usually about 13, 15 places only. And the others are going for payment. And this is 185,000 rubles, which is close to $4,500,
Yeah.
more or less, because 1 ruble is $1 is 65 rubles. So you can calculate.
I think it's even less than that.
Yeah, but currently, this is kind of the average in Russia for paid students. And yes, this is the difference, because for Russian citizens, this is an opportunity to fill in this 20 positions of budget covered, so that's free of charge. But also it is opened to the countries of newly independent states, so the former post-Soviet countries. So if you are from Moldova, from Ukraine, from Georgia, from Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, if there is anyone from the post-Soviet countries, let us know. We will give you a more detailed description. I see there's my education is related to business, and I survive. We believe that the business people do very well in public policy, but you have to be clear on what exactly you want to study, because the government have policies towards businesses. Government have policies towards supporting the medium and small enterprises, if you are in that type of business. If you are in big company, then there are programs of public-private partnerships. So what you do together between government organizations and business organizations, that's a field of public policy, because it could develop educational programs, health-supported programs, or training programs for certain types of businesses, which is also part of education. So this is why business is very welcome, because they are practical people that they want to have the maximum on their investment. So we hope they very seriously, and just choose the focus of what type of policy you want to study. Have another question. If I'm studied in bachelor in English and I have a diploma from an American university, do I still need to take an English language? No, no. We have a rule. If your language of instruction on your diploma is English, then you don't need to either go for exam nor to provide a certificate, because on your diploma it says the language of instruction was English. So if you were studying in English-speaking countries, then that's enough for qualifying for the language proficiency. English and have a diploma. Yeah.
Yeah, it was my case. I finished my bachelor in the Netherlands in English, and I didn't take any tests. So yeah.
Okay, good. So another question, actually from the former Soviet country. Good. Could you give me details about the enrollment process? Yes. So first of all, for those who are coming from former Soviet countries, there are two opportunities that are open. So first of all, this is an Olympiad. You know, that's Olympic Games, and we also have Olympic Games to join the program. So the game is that the task for quick analysis, like analyzing the text. Text will be one of the public policy texts. And then we give up the suggestions and the questions that you should answer to. And these tests are held in a long list of cities. You also open the Olympiad page in HSE website. It just says Olympiad. And you go in there and it's a list of cities. And basically all of them capitals of the republics of, yeah, you can open up one of the pages. We can open up the, sure. Well, Dragalina can find the appropriate page and we can just show you right on the screen. So this is Olympiad. You register for that Olympiad, and you can write this answers to the given questions. And you're given like 2 or 3 hours for that. You're given the text, you're given the time, and just a pen and a paper. And you answer those questions to show that we are interested to know how you think, how quickly you can formalize the questions and make suggestions to kind of your understanding of what exactly is the most important in those texts, and probably finding solutions to some of the policy questions that we ask there. So, if the students are winning the Olympiad, so out of 30 participants, we probably would choose about 5 or 10 those who are winners, and the first 5 are invited to join the program without exams and without a portfolio competition. So this is a really, really beneficial program. So you go to Olympiad, and the registration is open till 4th March. So be quick and go register, because only registered people then are contacted and invited to that time when actual competition is being organized. And if you are in Moscow, if you're close to Moscow, Moscow is also the place. It will be in one of the buildings of High School of Economics. So we're trying to find the programs.
Because it's only in Russian usually.
In Russian? But I think that you can open it in Russian, because the people for former Soviet countries would definitely speak Russian. So this is, you know,
So this is
the program that is in
Olympiad.
Russian. Olimpiada, and you open Olimpiada.
Oh, this is the open doors. That's another thing. It's the Studentska Olimpiada.
Okay, open doors is another way if you're close to Moscow or any other campuses, but you know, our program is in Moscow.
You have
So,
until 4th of March to register.
yeah, this is the registration. Yeah, these are addresses. These are addresses. So if you are in Minsk, in Belarus, or in Moldova, in Chisinau, or in Kazakhstan, in Karaganda, Tajikistan, Dushanbe, Bishkek, Kyrgyzia, so all of the republics, not all of them, but Yerevan, Armenia, there, or choose one of the cities which is closer to you, where you can because Olympiad is when you physically come to the place and you write just with your hand and pen and paper, and then we collect that and then we grade them, and then we select the people who are at the top of the rating, and then we invite them. But even if you are not a winner of the Olympiad, this doesn't prevent you to go into the competition of portfolio, because you can basically do both at the same time. And send your portfolio, because the portfolios we accept till mid-July. And then we start evaluating them. And for every document you downloaded, you uploaded to portfolio, we then give you certain number of points, as I told already. So if you have specific questions about portfolio competition, you can definitely ask now, or write to Ekaterina Cheklina. This is what Dragalina shows now. It's a submit an application form. Yeah, this is a HSE application online, and detailed information about application is available here. You can click, if you know, here, just there. At
this is the general on the website.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can find all this information basically by going to the
choose program, submit application form, application evaluation, then prepare the documents and upload them, and then we, the commission from the department teachers, give the grade to each of the documents that you have uploaded, and then we grade it and then calculate the numbers, and then we invite you for the personal interview. So we trust the documents, but we also very much want to see your face and to hear how you talk and to hear how you interact. This is not obligatory for international students, because with international students we invite them for Skype interview. So after you upload your documents, then we give the time to read them, and then we invite foreign applicants for the individual interview. We will send you the times and the dates and time, and then we agree on timing, and then we invite you for Skype so we can hear and see each other, and then we ask you questions, and then the commission makes decision if we can invite you to the budget covered seat, or you would need to pay. Because for the paid seats, it's still a big competition. And sometimes we invite people to kind of keep up their the space which is tuition based before it's all covered, because this is also a strong competition on tuition based thing. And another question, again, program and living expenses. Okay, so I think we have some of that written down, because while I'm talk, the Dragalina is very helpful on finding exact information on the website. So yes, we calculated for your opportunity, for your convenience, the campus in Moscow. No, it says how much it costs, but not the living costs. So the living costs are very much subsidized here in Moscow, and that you will live in a very good dormitory, which is not expensive, as I remember. So how much is that?
The most expensive one is 1,000 rubles a month.
1,000 rubles a month is divided on 65.
Yeah, I don't know, not even
close to 30.
Yeah.
So it's really symbolic in a way, but it's good quality. So you would have good internet there, and kind of environment of a flat.
Yeah. And there is basically study rooms at every floor. You can have your own mini library in a way in the dorm for your convenience to study. So I think most of the students that I know live in dormitories because there's a lot of them. They're all over Moscow. And
yeah, we have many dormitories,
well,
that's important. But I also asked about the costs. So the cost of living, you as a student can correct me, because I want to tell you is that in every study building, we have a canteen, which is kind of student prices, which are very much, subsidized and reduced. So you can have a, perfect dinner for, say, €5. And
there is the package meal that we usually, it's 120 rubles, which is
120 rubles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you basically get the full meal for like $2, $3.
Right,
like
right. So in terms of food, you'd be safe. And then for traffic and travel from the dormitory to the study place, our buildings, this is metro you take, and then if you need a bus. But usually the dormitories are close to the metro stations. And for that, you also get a student card. So all the students get the student cards that have also the subsidized.
Yeah, because based on your student card, you can do a social card, which is basically Moscow. Well, we use it mainly for metro. So you get subsidized metro price, which is 300, like almost 400 rubles a month. For unlimited travel by metro, and then you can, for an extra fee, you can get unlimited travel by bus. So it's really, it's up to, I think, 70% reduced fee for students. Also, based on your student card, you can get a lot of reduced prices in shops, like food places, or museums,
exhibitions, shows.
Yes, shows. There's a
Great.
lot
So
of
the
stuff
students are very helpful, so that you know all the details that I don't know. But all our foreign students, they really like it, so that there's a lot of ways that your living expenses are subsidized. And it also happened often that from the second year, many of our students find jobs,
Yes.
right? But we do not advise to have the job immediately, because you would be given a lot of tasks to read and write and to prepare for classes. But after you got into the process of you balance, you balance your schedule, your time, and you feel that you can do it, then we kind of allow that, because normally we want the students all concentrate on studies, but I think half of them, or even majority, from the second year, they already have jobs. And preparatory year student, and I live in dorm. It really has very good, good. So we have one of the participants writing that's in preparatory year. And now this is something interesting. The preparatory year is that if you feel that you're not ready to join the master program, you can join a preparatory year. Either you want to learn more English or you learn more Russian. But if you learn Russian, it won't help because our program is taught in English. But I'm not sure if they kind of upgrade the English knowledge. No, I think with English you need to come being fluent in English. But for dorms, yes, that even the preparatory students, they all live in dorms and they have good quality. So
there's a question about how long does the Olympiad Works assessment process go?
This is about a couple of weeks, because on 4th or 6th, it closes on 4th March. And I believe they have the exact dates, because when we receive this heap of papers, we usually check them very intensely. So it takes us only about a couple of days, because these are not very long papers. So how much you can write in 2 hours. And by mid-March, we give our grades. And by the end of March, the university, collect all of that and then publish them together. It is just to allow all of the happy, victorious participating students be happy to learn that they already accepted. And this is also be the decision of the commission, because we would look at the quality of answers. It could be победители и призеры. There are 2 grades. It could be the winners or the laureates, in a way. So for winners, we invite them immediately without even the portfolio exam. And for those who are laureates, they get a significant adding up to their grades that they got. So it's an extra points that they get for portfolio. So this is why, again, even if you have not won the Olympiad, do participate in portfolio competition, because the fact of your participation would be very well recognized. So you would get an extra point for that. So, время проведения, yeah, there are several days of the Olympiad. It will be 15 to 17 March. So it's in between of March. So it closes 4th March. But then the Olympiad itself is between 15 and 17. And then by the end of March. Yeah. By the end of March, you would get the results. So you know pretty soon that you already accepted.
There's no question.
Yeah. No other questions so far. So please, hurry. We have another 5-10 minutes before the session will be closed. But, you know, don't worry if you do not have a ready question. Because in our program on the website, if you can open that, where the Katya Cheklina is our managers, you know, see, Cheklina Ekaterina, she really is very open, very friendly, and she speaks, oh, I don't know, she speaks Japanese, I didn't know. That's the first time I see. Well, so if we have people from Japan, please write in your own language, you tell us, you know, how well communication was going. So just write to Katya Cheklina about any technical questions, about the places, the documents you upload, the grades you would get for every document, the timing when you come, the place in the dormitory you will be given, the cost of living, because she's the manager, she knows all the detail, and you just write to her address and be sure that within a couple of days you would definitely get a very detailed response. Or if you have any substantial questions, you can write to me. My address is also there. Dragalina, you can open my page. You're very quick at this. So that you're always welcome to have my first name and second name, and you would open that page so you can know exactly what I teach, what are my research interests, and you can write to my address directly for substantial questions in terms of, you know, classes and focuses and what type of research questions can you put, or the graduation topics or master dissertation topics that you can address to me. And for technical questions, please address them to Ekaterina. Are there more questions? Let's have a look. Nice. That was wonderful to speak to you. And I very much hope that you would be participating in some of the opportunities that we just shared. And please share with your friends. We have several people who were from India, and currently we have, every year we have somebody from India. So do follow the tradition, so that we have many Indians in the world, and so we have many people from India, and we welcome all of you to come. So please take this invitation seriously, personally. We are very interested to have a diverse team of students, and please apply. Mm-hmm. So we will be happy to have that interactive team of students. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.